Hello, and welcome to Prevail Marketing's YouTube channel, where we talk about all things sales and marketing, techniques, strategies, suggestions, tricks that'll help you grow your business. My name is Bill Arnold. I'm the president of Prevail Marketing. You may find us at prevailmarketing.com or prevail.marketing. We answer to either. I would encourage you to go check out the blogs related to this subject I'm going to talk about today, because it's going to be far more detailed than I can express in this video here. What is that subject? How to develop buyer personas and why it's important. It's part of our series, How to Get Marketing Sales Success. We talked about the strategic buyer insight report yesterday. They were talking about an aspect buyer persona. Why, first off, the internet is filled with the plethora of what buyer personas are. A lot of it's wrong. We're going to try to help you get it right. But why is it so important you get it right? Okay. Because everything you do, every aspect of your marketing sales effort should be tied to what a particular buyer persona needs to see at that stage of the buyer's journey in order to take the next step. Every aspect, the UX UI, the website, the landing page, the CTA, the subject matter of the content you create, where you distribute that content. Every time you do any of those, you should ask, will this address a particular buyer persona at this stage of the buyer's journey? And what do I think they're going to do when they see it? What's that next step we can move them towards? That's the purpose of buyer persona, to get them down that buyer's journey. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to explain what that process is. We're going to talk about how we see the problem. But I want to start talking about what is a buyer persona. Well, first off, it is not a demographic. It is not an illusory, fictitious being that you make up on the internet. And I say that because recently I was associated for a little period of time with another agency, and one of my colleagues was looking for some support to talk to a prospect. And this group, these came back with, here's your buyer persona. This is for a trucker who's a buyer persona. They said, yeah, your buyer persona is a trucker who happens to be between 25 and 50, is divorced, has 2.5 kids, has this religion, watches sports, listens to country music, blah, 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 blah. It was worthless. It was meaningless. And it was wrong. Why? First off, it was made out of whole cloth. It had no basis in reality. They just pulled information off the internet that they thought, this sounds about right, and I can fool the client. Now, the second reason is it's meaningless because it has no value. There's nothing in that you could say, I need to create this particular content at this stage of the buyer's journey and distribute it here in order to get these results. And if you took anything from that, you'd be wrong. A purpose of a buyer persona is literally to find out what you need to create, how you need to distribute it, what type of information be in order to get that person down the buyer's journey. And for that, you need a process. I'm all about processes because they work. Here at Prevail Marketing, we have a well-established process for buyer persona. And what we do with it, in fact, not only do a buyer persona report, we actually do a buyer persona report, a buyer sentiment report, and a buyer's journey report. We're going to talk about those reports and how to use them tomorrow. Then we're going to talk about the process we use to get those buyer personas. The process starts with us talking to the stakeholders of a company. Who are the stakeholders? Senior management, marketing, sales, customer support, those people who really have a connection to the prospect or customers, that interface with them. I want to talk to a couple of each group if possible. And first off, they're going to tell you when you have this conversation, you don't need to talk to it. No. We know who our buyer personas are. I've been doing this for 17 years. I know who they are. I know how they feel. I know everything about them. Well, great. I don't. And maybe we're going to learn something together that you didn't know, that you made assumptions of, that has changed. Let's go through this process. And so we start out by having the questions, and we want to know, who they think their buyer personas are, what they think their buyer personas need to see at each stage of that buyer's journey. Do they like videos? Do they like written content? What message do they need to see? What are their pain points and concerns? Where do they go for information and third-party verification? Where do they go for entertainment? We're going to ask all these questions, and you're going to find a lot of that they don't know. And that's fine. I didn't expect them to, but it's a good starting point for the next conversations we're going to have. Because the next conversation we're going to have is with closed-won opportunities. That's right, customers, new customers, in fact. The newer, the better, because I do not want their experience with the product, with customer support, or anything after that, post-sale, to impact what they tell me. I want to find out why they chose my client, where they went for information. We're going to talk about that a little, what I want a little later on, but I need to talk to new customers. I really want to talk to two people at each customer. Someone in middle management, you tend to be an influencer, and senior manager tends to be a decision maker. I want to talk to both. Their stories will be different. And I want to talk to being anywhere from 3 to 6 customers if possible, because I need to get a well-balanced understanding of who they are and why they made some decisions. Because when I talk about buyer personas, I really don't care if you're a man or woman. I don't care your age. I don't care, your demographics. I don't care any of that. That's information at the back end. So when I develop buyer personas, they're like decision maker, influencer, healthcare decision maker, whatever it might be with persona I'm talking about. Because if you need to see the same information at the stage of the buyer's journey to make that next step, you're the same persona as far as I'm concerned. I don't care if you're a man or woman. If you need to see the same information and you're going to adjust it the same way, you're the same persona. So next people I want to talk to, a little harder group to talk to, but the most valuable conversation you're probably going to have are closed lost opportunities. Those people you did not get as customers. There was a disconnect somewhere. Something didn't happen. You failed. And we need to figure out why. The ones you got, great. I applaud you. But the most valuable conversations come from the people you didn't convince. So we have conversation. I don't want sales going out and trying to make that connection like I do with customers. I want to call them because they don't want to talk to sales anymore. They don't want to try to be resold. And I start out by saying, look, I don't care you didn't buy. I'm not trying to get you to buy. I just want to figure out why you didn't help my client. And I know your time is valuable. So at the end of this session, I'm going to give you between a $50 and a $200 gift card. I'd make that determination based on the position, because obviously a CEO's time is going to be more valuable, and I've got to pay him more to get him there. I know that's not fair, but that's the reality. I talk to one person each customer because I don't want to each lost opportunity, I should say, because I want to burden them. But I ask them the hard questions. What was the decision factor? Why did you decide to go somewhere else? Where'd you go for information? Was there some messaging that someone did better? What factors did you use to do this? I'll ask these questions and drill down why the customer lost the sale. Was it the process? Was it the messaging? Was it the product? Was it a combination? Was there an influencer out there that said something that swayed them? Who was an influencer? Was there an agency or a referral site that they relied upon? We need to know those things because they're important. So when I do these interviews, any of these interviews, there's some key elements here. Listen more than you talk, okay? It's not how smart you are, it's not what you know, it's what they're going to tell you. So if they're passionate about something, drill down. Keep pushing back and trying to get more information, because they're going to try to be superficial when they first contact you. And you need to make sure you listen to them and you get information. So figure out what initiated their search for solutions. So what first thing you want to start was what their priority initiatives were. What problem or need existed? How did it arise? Who discovered it that made them feel I need to find an answer? Figure out what their success factors. What would you, when you're trying to look for a product, what do you establish was successful elements, successful needs, both from a personal and a business standpoint? I say that because personal standpoint, if I'm middle management, I want to look good at upper management. I don't look foolish. So I may pick a safer alternative so I don't look foolish, so I know it's safe, than one that may be better factors for the company. I need to establish, those concerns, what's best for the company as well, because that's going to impact the messaging I do for both. I need to address both. What perceived barriers did they have in selecting our company? What factors came up that gave them maybe I think I'll look somewhere else? This is all right. What were those perceived barriers? What was the buying process? Who did the initial discovery? Who did the investigation? Who did the decision making? Did they go and look at blogs or content? What type of content did they look at? Did they look at influencers? Look at referral sites? I need to understand the process they use to figure out the information, develop the information, and decide upon the information. So where they go for information, place of engagement is critical. Did they go to our blog? Did they go to their competitors' blog? Did they look for third-party sites? All that stuff you need to understand. Where they go for information themselves, if they're looking for just general information. By the way, if I can figure out where they go for entertainment, I want to find that as well. So I want to be able to reach them through that. And what decision factors do they use to make the final decision? I need to understand the decision criteria. So a couple tips before I let you go for the day. Record the interview. Do not try to write down. Do not try to take notes. You want to listen. Really, really listen to what they have to say so you can ask intelligent responses as you go forward. Ask permission to record the call at the beginning. Don't have any surprises. Offer them a copy of the recording afterwards if they want. They'll put them at ease. Also, the process for doing buyer personas is not a one or done. Once I get through that initial conversation, I develop the buyer persona, the buyer's journey, the buyer sentiment report. Every quarter, I want to go back and speak to 2 or 3 new customers and 2 or 3 lost opportunities, because things change. Obviously, just think of the COVID era, pre-COVID, during COVID and post-COVID, the world changed. And maybe it's not as dramatically now as things happen now, but they do change. And you want to keep on top of those changes. You want to keep on top of those pain points, those concerns, those interests, where they go for information. It's a continuing process. So it's not a one and done. One of the things I recommended is that if you want to learn more about buyer persona, we utilize a system that was done by Adele Ravella for the Buyer Persona Institute, buyerpersona.com. I encourage you to go to her site. I encourage you to read buyer book. Take her master classes. They're well worth the time and effort. Okay, I get nothing for it, but I highly respect what she did. Ours is based on what she did. We've added elements to it, but if you just do what she said, you'll be fine. If you want the information how to find her, you go to our website, prevailmarketing.com, look for the blog about how to do buyer personas. I have links to her site. So I appreciate your time today. If you like what you heard, think it was valuable, please like, please share, please subscribe. If you have thoughts about what I said, good or bad, please comment. I'd love to hear from you. I will answer back. May not be right away, but I will answer back. If they're positive, if they're negative, I might ignore you. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about the buyer persona report, the buyer sentiment report, the buyer's journey report. How do we utilize them? What they look like? Hope you stick around and come back for tomorrow. Till then, have a good night.